In late June, 70 researchers and farmers took part in a WA Livestock Research Council by invitation study tour to the UWA Research Farm in West Pingelly. On site, they were treated to a broad range of presentations that provided an insight into the extent of projects underway and the degree of collaboration between WA's livestock research community. In this video, Murdoch University Honours student Jarryd Krog provides a snapshot of his project that sits within the Merino Lifetime Productivity Project.
Yeah, I'm doing my honours here at Murdoch, and I've been working at Murdoch for the last couple of years as well, collecting most of the MLP data. So my honours will be based around the visual traits and reproduction data from these girls. So as Bron said, they've been lambing for the four and 5 times now. So we've got reproduction all the way through across all these different sizes and individuals. So it's a good, and all these visual traits. So there's a good broad size to look at and a good variability between these traits. With reproduction, look, we've got numbers of lambs weaned and kgs of lambs weaned per year as we weigh them at weaning. And then we got all these visual traits we collect. So visual confirmation traits from back to body wrinkle, neck wrinkle, full list of traits there. And then we got all the breech traits, breech cover, crutch cover, breech wrinkle. But the more interesting side of things will be the functional traits that we collect at weaning. This is looking at the teeth and udder. So we tip the ewe over and check how they are going after 4 or 5 lambings. So we check their teeth, how they're breaking down, how many teeth they still have, how aligned they are, and the evenness. This is an average compared to the flock, because every flock will be different on your environment you'll be in. We also check their udders, how many functional teats they have, the shape of their teats. So this data will be really interesting to look at and compare this to their reproduction, and we can see how many lambs they had each year. So we can look at this data and combine it all. So the aim is to investigate this data and see the impact of these traits on their reproduction and how it changes over time as a ewe breaks down or has 6 or 7 lambs, or the ones that don't have any lambs at all. So yeah, that's, for me, I've just started it. So it's pretty interesting to get into, and still got a year to go, collect data. So it'll be good to get into and start analysing this data. But hopefully we can provide something in this area and start looking at these traits. Is it something that we should be looking at more often in the flock or not, and how these ewes are changing when they are breaking down or affecting their reproduction. So that's a bit all from me. Any questions?
Just wondering, are you DAG scoring through the year?
We do a DAG and urine score before they get crutched, if they are bad. Only if they're bad, because normally we'll check the flock out, and if they are bad, we'll do a DAG and urine score, because normally if there's not enough variability, there's no point of doing it. Yep.
Are you looking at number of teats and how functional they are?
Yeah, so we check the functionality of the teats at weaning, and we check how functional they are, the shape, and if they are irregular. We check if they still function. And obviously anything that is gone or really bad mastitis, we do cull them out as a welfare cull, but everything is kept if they are still functional and pretty well. Yeah, we do a count, as well. So how many teats, how many are functional? Yeah.
Lindley's asking that question because she has a question about whether, as they're producing more twins or triplets, whether they can feed the triplets, aren't you?
Yeah.
Jarryd, my interest is how the ewes progress through their lifetime with performance. Do they break down? A ewe that produces early high and continues to produce high, like twins every year, do those ewes break down more as they get older? My interest comes from lambing 3 times in 2 years. The sceptics of the scheme say they'll break down earlier in their lifetime than what they're doing. I'm just wondering what your experience. Plus, because my gut feeling is it's all nutrition. If the nutrition's right, you can do that, coming from the pig industry. But if you see across sites variation, whether that could be nutrition at different sites.
we can see, because we've got all this reproduction and values, and we can see how many lambs they've had and see when they actually start breaking down and when it does become quite important, these functional traits. So it'll be quite interesting to have a look at. And also these other visual traits we've done will be good area to look at as well. And we've got weights, condition scores, so the first thing we start looking at is that data. Look, this animal's starting to break down, and we'll go look at those weights, condition scores every year and see how they are performing with a bad mouth or teeth or terrible udder. Yeah.